It works.
It did work. We had to clean out the cobwebs out of the old streaming machine to get back into the rhythm. Ladies and gentlemen, we are back. We are live. Thank you so much for your patience in waiting for episode 1, I guess, of
This year.
2026.
Yeah.
But Jenny and I are back, and boy, did we just fly in. Our arms are tired. I don't know what the joke is that we need to make, but we've been busy. We've been out and about doing things, gathering information, prepping you ready, getting you all set for ISE. Jenny's got the scoop. I have stories. I have shoes. Jenny's got cool stuff to tell us. We have some surprises. We have some letdowns. We have some good things. We have some bad. But you know what? It's the only show, according to folks out there, that is prepping you for ISE. So glad that we are taking the lead and doing what we got to do. And Jenny, how have you been? It's been a while.
Yeah, I've been really good. We're also playing a little game right at the moment. So with kudos to the first person. I'd like to offer them a prize, but I can't think of one right now. Maybe I'll come up with one if somebody gets the answer right. But yeah, there's something different about us, and I wonder if people will notice it. It's there, it's hiding in plain sight, but comment if you can figure out what it is. But for now, welcome back to Midwich on Air. We're streaming around the world via Midwich's YouTube, LinkedIn, and Facebook accounts. And you can ask us questions because on any of those platforms, the questions should appear in our browser window now. So we'll be able to see them quite quickly after you post them. And if you don't get to watch today's show, you can watch it back on YouTube. Search the Midwich Group. Do subscribe. We have most of our viewership is LinkedIn. It'd be nice to have some on YouTube as well. And if you want, you can ignore our faces or any of the visuals and just listen to us on Midwich's Midwich Sounds platform. But as I say, there's something different. There was a hint in that little blurb that I just spilled off, and there's another one on the screen as well. But do you know, we had like 10 minutes before this and agreed we were going to talk about the Midwich booth and what was happening on there. Then we were going to talk about Ignite. Then we were going to do hot picks, and that would probably mean that we ran over because we always run over. Mm-hmm. And now I think actually the most important thing that we should probably cover off really quickly is footwear. So because I just found out that Neto's got the official ISE sneakers. So come on, show them and talk about what they do. There's tech in them, right?
This is the official, as you can see by the logo, the official ISE 2026, as they say here, branded limited edition sneakers. And yes, they're white and they have a really cool, mosaic Gaudi inspired tongue in the front there. It very, very interesting, very, very casual shoe, well built. But more specifically, it's such a nerdy shoe because it actually has an NFC chip built in, and either they're tracking me or they are going to be zapping me at some point. And if people want to come up with their phones and tap on my shoe, or if I have to kick somebody, I can't do a lot. But yes, this is the official ISE shoe. They just arrived.
So is the shoe going to track which booths you've attended and kick that out to you after the show? Or
I have no idea. I guess it's a surprise.
Yeah.
I apparently it has my registration on it, so I guess I can get my my badge with it, which is kind of cool.
You're going to have
a couple of years ago. We needed passports, vaccine cards, and all. And now you just need a pair of shoes to get into the show. It did come in I got to point out, in a custom branded, ISE 2026 collector's box for those that do collect shoes. So I will not be wrecking this, and it does have some QR codes and stuff like that. But it says "Step into Out of This World." The name of the company that's actually making this is called Lodresso. They're German-based, but I think the shoes are actually made in someplace close to home. It's made in Portugal. So very interesting. They actually came with 2 pairs of insoles that you can customize inside to your fit and to whether you prefer a softer shoe or a more, we don't mess around, Jenny. I should be doing shoe reviews at this point.
Wow.
I relaced them. Yeah, I relaced them and had them all. They're all turned into slip-ons. They're ready to go.
Interesting. So, well, hopefully at some point over the next day or so, maybe someone watches on LinkedIn or YouTube who's from ISE and can confirm, how creepy is the whole tracking NFT tag in the shoe. I think we've got a problem with LinkedIn comments, I'm just being told, but hi, Adrian. Kerry's sort of frantically typing those into us. Phil, hi. It shouldn't count because you work for Midwich, but yes, you are correct. We have new branding. So you can't win a prize, but you can have bragging rights for the next 10 days. We have rebranded. We've renamed actually as well. To kind of fall in line with the AV on Air studio that's become quite popular at Infocom and ISE. Our other group companies across the globe, some of them have spin-offs. So there's a Prase on Air and similar. And we went, well, actually, this makes sense for us. And now that we both work for regions who name themselves Midwich, it makes more sense for Chris and I as well. So we have a swanky new logo and these moving graphics that I'm worried are hypnotizing me like the snake from the Jungle Book whilst we're online. But if I
Awesome.
suddenly stop talking, that's why.
Awesome. And we have online, we were actually called the Dynamic Duo by Brian Mazzaros of OpenEye Global. So we have a lot to live up to if we're going to be.
You can help with the content.
100%, man. Hey, Brian, if you are listening, please give us a call.
So let's kick off then with a selfishly Midwich Group booth update. We always get this wrong, or neither of us researched the booth number. So producer Kerry has kindly put it on the screen graphic today.
I actually know it. 3P700.
3P700. I think it's quite a similar position to where we were last year. But I think last year at ISE, we were sort of white and blue. This year, we're very black and blue. So don't
very
go.
Mysterious.
Yeah. We may have an image. I'm not. Yay.
Ooh,
so this isn't obviously the real booth. That all starts shortly. But this is the booth design. So you can see what it will look like from the walkway in the top left there. You get a bit of an insight into the AV on Air studio in the top right hand corner. One thing to note about that, it is situated behind the reception. So that bottom right quadrant shows the reception desk. And if you see on the left hand side there's a window to see in, but it's not a full length window, so you would have to get a bit closer to have a look. However, that screen that's up on the top of the wall there, that will have the produced edit being shared live at all times. So any graphics overlays or switching of cameras and so on will be viewed through there. You'll get the sort of live output from the production desk. Even more exciting is, like we had at Infocom, for those of you that attended, our Holden team who are producing, or our on-site techs for the studio for the entire week, will not be in the studio like they were last year. They'll be outside. So feel free to come and peer over their shoulders. We ask that you don't touch anything if you can see that people are in the room recording. But obviously, during their downtime, they'll be available to have a chat to anyone about the setup as well. But it's really fascinating to just sit and watch them and how sort of constant the tweaks and changes and production is. So there'll also be a QR code that you can scan. In fact, we've already put out a press release. We can share a link to that that covers all of the kit. Thank you kindly to the vendors who've helped us to piece this together. So super exciting. I don't know if there are any slots left, but if you want one, reach out, let me know. We'll see what we can do.
I can shed a little light on that. We have some podcasters that are coming in as well. The idea behind this many years ago, and this was called Basecamp with Starin, was to provide gear for me as a content creator at the time, to have a place to record on the show floor, get the energy of the show floor and do that. And that was pretty much just a tabletop with a camera attached to a microphone, attached to a computer, and that was it. And to see how far it's come, how it's been rebranded, and how it's a full production now. One of the things that we discovered at Infocom was when we pulled our team out of it being inside the room and brought the stuff out, the nerdiness and geekiness of Infocom attendees came right out with us, because they love to stand over the shoulders of the producers and the people that are actually, doing stuff. And for lack of a better term, they love to see how the sausage is made. They basically were asking questions. There was things happening. They were watching things happen on the fly. And to be honest with you, it was at first designed to be kind of just an operating kind of bring our own gear. You don't have to do it. Let's invite
Headsets and
headsets and
around
stuff.
the table.
It turned into a Macy's window where you kind of walked up and saw things that were happening. But now it really is more than that, because now you see the production happening. You can ask the questions. There's going to be people there that are able to do it, to answer those questions. And, for people that are going to look at this and go, oh, this is a podcast studio, this is content creation. We've reframed that a lot of times as well, because for a lot of folks, these are corporate briefing centers, for lack of a better term. You call it a podcast station. We'll call it a studio. Call it what you want. This is something that has been elevated in the corporate world. And when we talk about broadcast, enterprise broadcast has taken off for us here in the US, and for obviously many of the Midwich companies across the globe. We're watching this trend happen. It's part of the reason why IBC is an important show for us to attend, and part of the reason why NAB is an important show for us to attend. And more, we're watching and seeing our people show up to that. And that is such something that happened. If you want to talk about a happy accident, we did not expect, when that was started years ago as Basecamp, we did not expect it to be a front and center on display at a booth. In a booth, technically, Midwich is very proud, Midwich Group and the group companies are very proud to have, probably, I would say, and unselfishly, probably one of the best hospitality suites on the show floor.
I think so. I think
you've always done it well, Jenny. Even before I first started attending this, from the service to the coffee to the places to sit and kind of just a place to kind of chill, because the rest of the show is loud, it's big, it's bright, you need time to decompress. Trust me, my therapist will tell you, you gotta decompress a bit when you come back from these things, because it's a lot of lights, camera, action, flashes, things going off. To have a kind of an oasis in that is always been the goal of Karen and her team to kind of bring to.
And this is the I guess the Southern European influence on us. That's the beauty of working for the Midwich Group, is that we're quite a cohesive group of people, and everybody has input. And something that's particularly important to our Spanish and Italian colleagues, mostly, I'd say probably the French as well, they really do want to host the customers and enjoy some food and good hospitality whilst talking. And we recognize that the tech's on all the other booths, we can't fit all of the tech that we sell on our booth. So once again this year, very similar to what you would have experienced from us last year. If you're on our booth and you're sat down with Midwich staff for a meeting, there will be sliders and small plates and some tapas and bits. I haven't seen the menu yet, available to be served to your table, as well as good barista coffee, and plenty of refreshments. And from 4 until 6 each day, a bar opens. So but before that time, it is drinks and food at tables, just so that we can keep a safe environment. But in essence, our happy hour is 2 hours long, and it's every day. But it does get busy. You will need to be with a member of Midwich staff to make use of our bar, but don't worry, I can hang out there to assist anyone that needs some help. But very much
we're certified hanger outers.
Exactly.
And we're ready for you.
It can also be a bit confusing. So if you are, if you're used to dealing with your local regional staff, definitely you get to the Midwich booth and go, well, there's a couple of hundred people that I don't recognize. Just head to reception. We are all going to stick our phones on loud and have our Teams running. So at any point, people will be able to get a message that you're looking for someone, and hopefully leave a number or so on. If they can't get back to the booth, then they'll get back in touch with you. So I suppose the last bit to add on the Midwich booth story is to talk about Midwich Ignite. So this year, the area that we call the Ignite Lab, I think, will be a sort of drop-in zone. And at different times, and it's not a set schedule, but there will always be somebody who can talk to you about our CVC, our Midwich Ignite, on the booth. But at different times, some of our investment portfolio companies will also be there. So I'm just very quickly going to run through what that looks like with a brief my version of what each of these businesses do. If any of those sound of interest to you, just come over whenever, and somebody will be able to talk to you about them, and then arrange for an introduction if they're there, or offsite if not, or online. So the current portfolio, Speech Lab. If you're a follower of Midwich Live, you would have seen these guys on a previous episode of ours. They do live translation and speech-to-speech dubbing. So the online tool version of their software, you upload a video in one language, and then it creates the transcript. You get an option to make any adjustments to the text if you want to. It then dubs that. And not only does it then change the language that you hear over the top of the video, it keeps the tone of voice of the original speaker. And for those who remember, we did a number of different versions of Chris. And I think Dutch Chris was the winning favorite, although Japanese Chris also came out quite good as well. So there's one. They have an integration with QSYS to use alongside the Seer Vision and similar for live translation. So not dubbing as such, but the live transcription. Deep Trust. This is a deep fake detector for voice clones, fundamentally. So this is something that's really on the rise. There are clone bots out there who can, after a few sentences of you speaking, are able to completely recreate your voice and talk back to you sounding exactly like yourself. Naturally, in the wrong hands, if that's somebody calling into your business and saying, oh, can you make this payment urgently? And they sound exactly like your finance director, it's highly likely that you might follow them. So what Deep Trust do is offer a solution that will detect those, and can also watermark devices to alert people when they may be being deceived. Cadence is probably a bit more well known. This is a space management and workplace solution, software based. They integrate with a number of the AV hardware partners. Really exciting, really sophisticated workplace management that learns from your behaviors, who you like to sit with, what your workplace office attendance habits are. Securix, this is a fire detection solution. So actually, when you think about it, smoke alarms don't work in outdoor environments, but specialist AI and infrared camera technology can. So that's ultimately what Securix does. VisGuard, another security overlay. So this is threat detection. It works over the top of security cameras and will highlight behaviors of concern, potential weapons. And it's all, again, sort of AI based to look at, this person is demonstrating behaviors of concern either because they're threatening or because they're a danger to themselves. So there is actually an active installation at the moment of this for suicide prevention on bridges. That works really well. So they can monitor the behaviors that lead up to that and then alert the relevant emergency services that they're concerned. Iden Audio will be in attendance. These guys do like a spatial technology for headphones typically, or headset technology. They will be there and available to talk to anyone on our booth. And finally, NetSpeak. Now, these guys will be doubly represented. You can come and talk to anyone at Midwich about NetSpeak, but they've also got their own booth at the show as well. And there's a lot of hype around that product. So I think I got them all.
You got them all.
Yeah, that's the current portfolio. And of course, the other side of Ignite for us is, if you are a startup looking for investment, please come and talk to us as well.
Yeah. One of the things that I guess, it's been kind of fun is that both Jenny and I, when we do get out, and I get out a lot, and probably equally as far, I'm a little bit more public about where I'm at as opposed to Jenny. Jenny does a lot of top secret stuff where I'm very open and public about my stuff. Mysterious Jenny Hicks.
I'm just not very good at social media.
No, but
I just can't post. I don't know how.
one of the fun things that we do is get to find some of this stuff, some of these products, some of these brands that are out there. And yes, come up to us, tell us. We know people. That's the best part, is that we will make those connections. I was recently in Las Vegas and I was combing through Eureka Park. And inside that, at CES at Eureka Park was a lot of fun little startups that, yeah, it could have sounded maybe that it was a consumer thing, but they may have an application and other things. So bringing back some of this information is something that Jenny and I both do. And our team at Ignite are appreciative of that, because, they get people that startups, obviously, that come and pitch to them, but the best ones are the ones that we kind of find out on our own and try to link to our businesses, because unlike the traditional VC companies that are out there, we actually try to help these companies in other ways by making the connections out into our existing networks as well. So any of the brands that Jenny has spoken to, introductions, are made to a lot of other brands. So, a company like NetSpeak did really well, with our, not just from our investment, but the connections that we're able to help build with that, and to see the company grow and expand out is really cool stuff. So hit us up. That's one thing that we're really kind of have some fun with, to be honest with you. Aside from the usual stuff, what's great about these companies is they're not your typical traditional AV companies, and it helps us grow as a company and as people as well. We get to now expand our views. It's not just a microphone, a speaker, and a display anymore. We're looking at wild and crazy things and how they attach to parts and pieces of our existing business. And sometimes this allows us to expand. And that's the fun part, is that we're no longer just, mounting a TV in front of a room and walking away and giving you a clicker and saying, this is AV. AV is changing. And that's what we recognize. And the team over Ignite sees that. And if you happen to be at one of our road shows in the UK, we had a day, and we haven't spoken about this, but we had a day where we brought in this team and we did kind of a presentation to folks about all these little companies that were out there. So you could have went to our tech expo to find a particular product, but if you were in the right area, you were probably brought into a space where you got to hear about Cadence and you got to hear about NetSpeak and the folks that were there discuss. So yeah, trying to be more than just the typical distribution company.
Been a really nice way to see what's coming down the line as well. Obviously, not every company that presents itself to us is successful in receiving investment, not necessarily because we don't believe in the product, but usually because we don't believe we can help. So one of the key criteria for us is that it needs to have a fit. We need to be able to offer them something more than just funding, which is really been nice for customers, and I suppose some of our manufacturer partners as well, that we're able to feedback that sort of glimpse into what's coming down the line and what some of the clever people are working on. But it does, there's so much AI now. I think I'm going to label this my buzzword of the show. I expect next week to see AI enabled and MCP server everywhere. This is just, it's what everyone's going to be doing. And I think we just want to be very careful not to, overdo the hype. We want to be looking for proper AI, not AI ready, shall we call it, where they're able to integrate with other open source models that are out there and so on that are built for other things. But one that I spotted, so I started creating a list of AI stuff. NetSpeak 100% is my top pick in this area. Please go and see them. NETSPEEK, NetSpeak. Go meet Lena, watch what she can do, turning stuff on, turning stuff off, fixing it. Loads of fun. She has LinkedIn as well, if you would like to connect with Lena before the show. But the other one that I spotted is Emergent. So yesterday I spotted an announcement from Emergent talking about two products, Pulsar VS and Nova GFX, and it had a strapline that said data in, graphic out. So I clicked on this to understand a bit more. These guys are going to be showcasing a single prompt to virtual environment output. So my guess here is that if you go over to this booth, you'll be able to say, create me Jurassic World, but with cherry blossoms and I don't know.
Velociraptors?
Yeah, but but build that from a single prompt, and then it will generate the graphic environment for you in a VP shoot. They're working in partnership with audiovisual, so I'm guessing there's going to be an LED studio of some sort, or at least certainly a backdrop, maybe a floor. So I thought that sounded really exciting. This is where I'm going to start looking cross-eyed, because I'm going to have to pull my notes up.
While you say that, Jen, one of the things that I'd like to highlight when all you are going through and investigating all the AI buzzwords that are come at you hard and fast, look at the ones that are now strategically aligned with brands and manufacturers. And they don't necessarily, like we talked about NetSpeak. NetSpeak is aligning with many, many manufacturers across the brands, including brands that we do not carry in various parts of the country or the world. So look at those when you're looking for the AI components, and they're looking at, bringing it out. Who are they working with? What are the brands that they're working with? Those are key things that you need to pay attention to. What manufacturers are already starting to believe that this is something that is obviously open and worth working with. That's the important AI. Trust me, I combed through a bunch of this in Vegas. There's good AI, there's weird AI, there's useless AI, and then there's machine learning, and then there's other stuff. So for us on an AV focused show, look at the ones that are strategically aligning with brands that are known and trusted and that you would work with. That's a good way to kind of weed out some of the weird.
It works the other way, right? So when you look at NetSpeak and their library of compatible partners or onboarded partners, what you're gaining from that, and I'd say the same with the Open API crew as well. They're achieving the same thing. What they're trying to do is create this safe and dependable space for you to go and get information, data, and APIs from that are current and not from a web scrape. And I suppose it's great that we have there's so many AI tools out there, many of them free, that can do all sorts of wonderful things. But it's very difficult with a prompt to stop them from searching far and wide for the answers that you're looking for. And the further and the wider that they search, the more risk that you have of receiving incorrect or out of date information. So, these solutions are not by literal definition narrow AI, but it's a term that I'm starting to use myself. And when I use it, I mean it's been designed for a specific purpose and then has those rules and parameters set up to make sure that it can do that, and isn't capable of doing so much that it runs the risk of getting it wrong. Another one to go and look at is Treble Technologies. So I'm going to try and see if I'm going to explain this one like I would to my 9-year-old. So this is an AI acoustic simulation tool. So if you think about how sound travels around a room, depending on the furniture, the room shape, the surfaces, etc., affects what it will sound like in different positions, where it will be clear, where it's going to be too loud or echoey, etc. So what this does is create a digital copy of the room, a sort of 3D model of the space, like a video game. And the AI kind of pretends to shout or make a noise or play music and sends out this virtual sound, the same way that light rays would bounce off of a mirror or similar.
Like
and the AI then watches. Yeah, it watches how it bounces around. So previously we've done this using calculations, sound engineers and experts and designers, and it's been quite a long-winded process to do well. And this, it shows the results visually. So I think green is good and red is loud, and so on. And the designers, yes, we could already sort of do this, but what the designers can then do is make their small changes live in this sort of 3D environment to go, or what if I move this speaker here? How does that change things? What if I add a carpet? What if I add soft furnishings or soft panels and so on the walls? And it will do those calculations a lot quicker than a human being could do, so that you can very quickly work out what's the best way to install your audio. Now, I think this is brilliant. And they've released an SDK, which means that a whole bunch of vendors can start working with them, or service companies building this into their tools, I guess, and so on. So that's one for me that I'm off to have a look at the show. Yeah, I think it's really cool.
I'm a big fan of the audio component. I wrote an article for CI talking about how I believe that audio is probably one of the most undervalued applications in the AI world. And the reason why I'm on that, if you are to take an AI conference enterprise situation, in the conference room, probably if you were to take a straw poll of what people think is the most important thing that they need from AI, two things stand out: transcription and translation. And both are heavily dependent on audio quality. So controlling the audio in the room, whether it's via acoustics, whether it's digitally, whatever applications it is, adding more microphones, adding something that is covering an entire room via beamforming microphones, as opposed to just a standard microphone in the center of the table. Things are now hypersensitive. AI is hypersensitive to know that it's Jenny in the second chair from the right, because in that transcription, now we'll say, obviously in a Copilot environment and others as well, it will want to know that it's Jenny who trained the model, and Jenny is at the second chair, and it can go back and say, this was everything that Jenny said. Here's the summarization of everything, clearly, concisely, and you want that. So the importance on audio is undervalued in the conversations when it comes to AI, because everybody's enamored about, well, let's do all this AI, and everything that gets the hype on the AI side is typically about camera tracking and focus. And we love our cameras and camera companies that are out there doing that. But to the end users, to the people that I speak to almost on a daily basis, their feedback always comes back: I need a transcription. I want meeting notes. I want translation, because we live in a global environment, in a global economy. So obviously, yes, these are important. AI, I cannot stress enough how important AI is. And when people read that article, I got stuff back like, he's being very vague. I'm not being vague. I'm being vague on purpose, in a sense that focus on the acoustics, because the irony of it is as a former on-site engineer, we would get value engineered out the audio component all the time, whether it was a DSP, whether it was an extra microphone, whether it was microphones hanging from the ceiling, because we didn't want to drill on tables. Focus on the audio, and the rest of AI will start to kind of take care of itself. Correct? Am I wrong?
No,
in saying
100%. And it's on my list of like UC trends. I've got one around, I think there'll be a lot of tabletop center of table cameras again this year, and I think that people will be more receptive to them. Audio quality is a huge one, and I don't think it's quite clear. If you look at all of the big audio manufacturers, they've all moved into video bars now. They've all moved into this space because it's coming, massively driven by Copilot. I mean, my biggest bugbear at the moment is the abbreviation ISE. Is transcribed as ISC, as in soft C, curly C, or from the alphabet. And it even more annoying is when it's linked to a video that's actually titled ISE, and it still can't pick it up. But there you go. On the subject of UC, I'm going to show you a product that, when you just see something and you go, that makes so much sense, like answers all of the different things. So I hadn't looked at this company for quite a long time. And then they were acquired by Biamp, who turned 50 this year, I think, at ISE. So they'll have a, I'm sure, a nice booth. They're usually well known for their squishy carpet. It's a good place to stop by if your feet hurt. But Biamp acquired Evoco a while back. And I think a lot of people think of those guys as room booking solutions. But they've taken a tabletop product for connectivity and switching. It is now, I think, fully rebranded as Biamp, or the image that I've got of it shows a Biamp logo. I think, Kerry, you should have the first slide of the Biamp unit. Here we go. So these are retractable USB-C cables. They can charge, but also if you see the green light around that top holder, you can click on the one that you want to present on the screen. So it's like, it's not like ClickShare, but it's ClickShare, but you can charge, and so, but with a hardwired cable. And I think we're really moving back to the whole hardwired cable thing.
If you remember, this was a furniture company had something like this.
Yes, there's a really cool one from
it was Steelcase back in the day. Used to have something like that.
Some of them they like the cables retract out themselves and then come back in, which is quite cool. But that leads me on to the second image I have of this. Now, after many years of many retracting cable devices for in the table and so on, yes, lots of them work very well and for very long times, but a lot of us, especially if we've worked at a disty or an integrator, have had that experience when they get stuck, which usually means replacing an entire module, and generally is done by somebody who's just too dashy and grabby and has pulled it too far. So Kerry's got the picture of the under the table install of this. See this black box? It's actually like a bag, and the cables are weighted. So at no point are they curling and coiling up. They just drop back down. Such a simple answer to a common problem. And whilst this is a wonderful product, it charges up to 100 watts and it does also, you can switch and so on. My favorite part was this, that it stops the arguments or prevents anybody from saying, oh, I can't use them. I've done that before, and they stop working. So that it will be on the Biamp booth. Go and have a look amongst many other very interesting room system products for UC&C. Now, I was told this was secret. I don't know if it is, but because I was told that it was at the time, I won't say it out loud. If you go to the Shaw booth, I believe that they will unveil a new product. It'll be something that the world, do you know, if it was anybody else, I'd say we did not need another one. However, with everything that we've just said about audio, they're a very good person to start making one. So head over their way. I did join, actually, despite Adrian, you saying nobody does pre-show webinars. I joined one with Kramer this week, and they will be talking about a whole host of things. Ashton Bentley Furniture is one that I would say it's very worth having a look at. But also, they'll have a focus on their cable range. And on the USB side, they've got a big range of USB A-B-C cables for video only or full service USB-C with power, etc., but also data only. Now, this I thought was really interesting. What they've got is I think it's something like 29 or 30 different SKUs, and they're saying, you know, all of fantastic quality, but with very specific functions right the way through to all of the functionality. So you only have to pay for what you need. And I thought that was a really nice message to offer. We have got an image, actually. I will show their marketing. Jenny, who are just becoming more and more relevant in this space, and the range is growing dramatically. So they are unveiling 5, I think, new products or coming new to market. CamTrack is the one that I wanted to draw attention to. So this is a voice-activated multi-camera switcher. What's so exciting about this? At the moment, there's a sort of specific list of products that it works with, but what a great way to sort of not lock you into a specific platform or specific technology choices, that you can have multiple cameras of your choice, but still see those benefits of that sort of voice tracking, switching between the cameras. And it's very smooth. I've seen an online demo of it. I'm looking forward to seeing that when I get to the show. Shall we talk about MDEP?
Sure, so, we can do that.
This is, I think this is going to be a trend, mostly for UC, but that's spilling into signage. So MDEP is the Microsoft device ecosystem platform, and it's a way of making non-PC devices, or shall we say sort of computers that don't behave like a laptop or a proper computer. It's a way of making them managed work devices. So things like kiosks, MTR, like non-certified MTR or meeting room devices, signage screens, room panel booking signs, and embedded systems. A computer would normally get updates, have security rules, they're managed by IT, but the devices that I just mentioned, they usually sit outside of IT control, and often use custom software and don't follow the standard security rules.
Correct.
So what MDEP does is give that Microsoft approved identity, the secure communication to the cloud, and a way to make the IT team trust these devices because they see and behave like a well-behaved company device. It turns a computer that doesn't behave like a computer into a well-behaved company device. So I think this is the year of MDEP for meeting room devices, but the start of the year of it for digital signage, screens, and room signs as well. I think we saw or we heard things about IADEA and their players doing something with MDEP at Infocom. I'm surprised that I haven't seen anything from like LG and Samsung yet in terms of that, but I'm sure it will come with the screen manufacturers. So let's see what happens with that one. But it's the sort of thing that I expect IT teams to be really interested in, which probably means that we'll see that sort of rip through our industry quite fast.
Jenny, I'm going to add, since we kind of went into the visuals and you went into the signage conversation, I want to add one of the things that I see trending or getting next gen or next level. At Infocom, we got to see the Epson Alt product, which is the screens that are not black anymore, right? When they're off, they can now be printed. There is a silk screening on it that makes it look like wood, look like concrete. Those little 2 by 2 foot by 2 foot or 3 foot tile examples that we saw at Infocom, I fully expect that to be wall size now, 163-inch versions of these things, because since Infocom, I have seen them at LDI, I have seen them at IAPA, I've seen it at other shows. These printed LEDs, when they're off, do not need to just be a black hole in the wall. I find that to be amazing. I see our experiential companies working with those products and custom screen printing a lot of that. And what started as faint ghosting, I am now seeing super clear. There's always going to be a little bit, it's not going to be a TV, but man, it really, when you want to just hide something, whether it's in a corporate lobby or in a boardroom, and you do not want to see the big black hole in the wall, it does a really nice job. It is architect and designer friendly. Remember, folks, everything that we do in AV, our architect brethren and designer brethren hate us for it. We are known for the big, black screens. We are known for ugly things and gray boxes and black boxes that sit there. So nothing that we do has an aesthetic to it. And finally, watching companies like Epson and Rowe and the other brands that are out there, and I have a handful of other brands that I expect to see bring it out that I saw at these little shows, bring out competing products. This is going to be a difference maker in our space because it's going to be accepted by a group of people on the architect and design side that typically hate having to put that stuff. They love the technology and are asked for it by the end users, but now there's a compromise. And that has taken years for it to get to that point. And I remember when I was at Barco working with our LED company and a perforated wood board where somebody wanted something to kind of ghost through it. And the best we can get was looking kind of like a digital clock. It was very super pixelated, but then we were talking about micro perfs on a piece of wood that was literally laying on top of an LED screen that we were producing and had jacked up the brightness as bright as possible. This is now made possible with screen printing and proper materials and stuff. I'm excited to see what appears or what comes to ISE. Unlike Jenny, I don't have names and booths and stuff like that. You could start at the Epson booth and see what they got with the Alt, but I am 100% sure you are going to see a lot more of this, especially when it comes to the signage, experiential side of our business. And obviously, it's going to make its way into the corporate boardroom. I do not want to hear that LED is not in the boardroom yet. That has been going on. Prices have adjusted. Everything is now in play for that to be possible. So don't use that as an excuse. Look at these products from a cosmetic perspective. They will be accepted, and you probably will have companies that will pay the extra to have that simply because it's not an eyesore. So
yeah. I think it's the active wall movement, isn't it? But it's oddly, it's stimulating the projection market back towards mapping and creativeness there as well, which is great.
Yes.
So on that topic, whilst we have stepped into the realms of LED, shout out to Green Hippo and TV1, who I understand will be showcasing a sort of combined management or control platform across the Hippo servers and I think TV1 Calico. Now that I don't know a lot about yet, but I did see they have a webinar that you can sign up to on LinkedIn. It's like a LinkedIn Live thing coming later in the week. So go check that one out. Another one in this space, if you are trying to map or create an immersive space, there's a really cost-effective option with Hive and their B-Blades. So these are sort of, should we say, they're like a signage player on steroids, or a competitively priced, excellent option for the sort of media server element, and you can use multiples to make up your full system. So if you're in that space, sort of immersive spaces, the event space, etc., go check these guys out. Custom resolutions, warp capability, mapping capability, but also like a time sync capability as well, which is what makes it so relevant for that event space. Now, one that I wanted to shout out, I don't have a booth number. I will go and find it later, because I really think if you are in the mostly retail and hospitality space, although there is a corporate spin on this too, please go and check out Blue Sound Professional. So these guys make streaming players and speakers. They're like another well-known brand that do this, and they would say they are like that well-known brand that many consumers would know as a popular streaming speaker solution, but for people who really care about audio. Now, these guys have some partnerships. So their hardware is fantastic, secure, has a sort of dedicated OS, Blue Sound OS, Blue OS, for these applications. But what's particularly interesting about them is the partnerships that they've formed with the commercial sort of Spotify for Business type applications. One is Sound Machine and another is Cusick. And I believe that there will be a presence from Cusick, or certainly people on the Blue Sound Pro stand that can talk to you about it. Now, this platform is a music or audio streaming platform for retail and hospitality, or aimed in that space, with some really clever features. So you can pair it with strategically positioned microphones to listen to the ambient noise levels in your store and adjust its output accordingly. You can tie it in to your sales till systems, etc., so that it can run generatively to sales activity. And the coolest part for me, it has a text to speech like message or platform, advertising platform. So I can type in Pepsi is now $1.50 for the next 2 hours and schedule it to play between each song and so on. So there's different streaming platforms. There's a world of choice out there. What's so interesting about this hardware manufacturer is that by using these, you can then switch between, I guess. I suppose, like for me, maybe Apple Music now, but maybe I'm Amazon Music at some point because I have more Alexas or something. Maybe I shouldn't have said that out loud. I might set something off in the house. But maybe tomorrow, Chris Neto streaming is coming out, and it's got the rights to everything Taylor Swift, and I automatically want to switch over. So the beauty of, much like everything else in the AV industry, having hardware that doesn't lock you into those software platforms is really quite exciting. In addition to those retail and hospitality focused use cases, they will also be partnering with a company called Mood Sonic, who do soundscaping. So this is probably more corporate, but also like spas, maybe. You can tell it, the speakers in this space are in an environment where we want people to be able to do focused work or concentrate on their well-being. And then in another space, we want a buzzy, energetic atmosphere. And what it outputs is generative. So it will, I'm sure it won't play whale noises, but you get the idea of what the sounds like make you feel.
You're now going into the biophilia conversation. This is something that was a bunch of years ago was kind of a thing with adding greenery and sound and water sounds and all that. It's a positive, mental, uplifting, kind of subliminal kind of thing happening. I get that. I love that. I think it's very interesting. I will hold off giving my, it's the next thing, but it's interesting to see that, well, it does fit into the wellness trend that is happening in the spaces. So I'm interested to see where this goes.
Yeah. Yeah. They're definitely worth a stop there just to look at it. It wasn't something that I fully understood. Oh, last thing on this one. Again, this is going to be like my Biamp Evoco weighted cable. Here's something, and please tell me if anyone else does this, because I thought this was genius and I don't understand I haven't seen it before. But producer Kerry has a picture of the pendant kit for a Blue Sound ceiling speaker. So that bit in the middle there, that is Blue Sound's ceiling speaker. They do a passive one, they do an active one. Irrelevant. If you want it to be a pendant, you just buy the pendant kit.
Mm-hmm.
And it turns it into a hanging pendant speaker. Now, does that not make so much sense? How is that not been done before? So if you want ceiling speakers, you buy them.
In that sense, but they're taking into account that it's going to be open air versus closed air and so on and so forth. It is, it's kind of like the piece part of it, and you can assemble it yourself and do what you like. Very interesting. I don't know of any others that are doing that. So that's
I think this is a sign of my age, maybe, that like it's these little things that make me go, oh, that's really clever. And that's what sticks in my mind now. I'm less wowed by the super tech.
Your trend has been practicality more so than anything else. It seems to be what I'm picking up, what you're putting down. Very interesting stuff. I actually have a kind of insider information kind of component that I would like the folks to pay attention to, because technically I think it's still embargoed, but I can kind of leave hints. Go check out. One of the things that I've been kind of looking at is, there's a massive struggle on my side to understand this. There's a battle war waging with IP transport, because I play in two spaces. I play on the broadcast side and I play in the corporate enterprise side. So there is the compressed versus uncompressed. There is the SDI versus HDMI. There is a whole sort of
2110 IPMX.
Yes, there's IPMX on one end, and then there's a difference on the other.
So they're there this year, aren't they? This is the first time that they're like, is it called AIMS? It's like the SDVOE Alliance, and so, but for IPMX, I think they are going to have a booth and people can talk to them.
You got to go see both. And if you're not having the conversations, they are something is happening where they're starting to meet in the middle, because you can't have these two separate things happening at the same time. Enterprise broadcast and AV over IP are the same thing, people. They're just not jiving. So what I was going to say is go see what SDVOE is doing and what they're presenting this year, something very important. We are fortunate to have Stefan Tremblay come to our event that we're having on Monday, which is a kind of a top secret. And here is the plug. If you are a consultant,
I don't think it's a secret.
it's not really a secret, but if you are a consultant and you're in Barcelona and you want something to do, I think it's a little tough to get into right now because we kind of filled up the joint, but we are having our first kind of designer consultant event, and we are fortunate enough to have Stefan Tremblay come and talk about the chips that are being used at the show, and the chipsets that are being used now for their AV over IP solutions. And the things that are coming out of there are very promising. Whereas, standards are always kind of weird, and AV will have a battle about what standards are what. Very interested to see, and I'll just tell you guys as like a tidbit of stop by their booth, take a look at what they're doing, and it has to do with how fast the processing is happening, which has been an issue in the past with the chips, but the new generation that they're working with is going to make it faster. And I think you're going to see that across the board, not just from AV over IP. You're looking at touch panels that are now catching up with the chipsets that are lightning fast, reactive, not slow. And I mean, we're talking instant. And there are companies out there that are doing it really well. I will leave that up to you. If you would like to, come see me at the Midwich booth, and I will tell you who are out there doing it. As of today, I cannot, because I'm sworn to secrecy. This is like me revealing who Bruce Wayne is. I can't tell you that, but I will tell you that there are some really cool things happening on the chipset side. So go investigate the AV over IP conversation, because it is not supposed to be a battle between broadcast and all that. It is starting to kind of get close, and both are starting to finally play nice. And there's an understanding that they both have to do it, because companies, our end users, our integrators that are selling to the end users are selling broadcast solutions at the same time that they're doing video conferencing. The transport is equally as important. It is a topic and it is a subject. It's not the most flashiest thing, right? It's just the thing to be.
I don't know though. I think
love it. I think
it might be the most exciting. So I think we have to be really careful with this one, because we've all got AV over IP and networked AV fatigue, because we started talking about it 10 years ago, going, this is the next big thing. But we've gone on about it so much for 8 out of those 10 years that now that it really is the next big thing, everyone's like, yeah, okay, we're over it. But
it's refined,
in reality,
right?
This is the backbone of everything that we do. So we're now in that point of the hype scale where this is becoming the infrastructure behind everything. And there's a really interesting article that I really did agree with from Scott Freshman at Visionary. It's on his LinkedIn if you want to go and find it. It neither is nor isn't a plug for Visionary here, but what he talked about was the importance of, I think he called them wecosystems as opposed to versus ecosystems, and that we sort of live in a place at the moment where perhaps some of our portfolio stroke control brands sort of dominate this space, not so much in broadcast, but certainly in AV at the moment. And therefore that sort of dictates the performance and the management that people get from their AV over IP infrastructure, when actually what we want is the best result for the customer. And sometimes that's a multi-brand experience. So I think that things are changing. I don't have a preference of, interoperable or not, compressed or not. Honestly, I don't think that latency makes a huge difference in fixed install, especially if the screens are in different rooms. Nobody can run that fast. And we're talking, milliseconds here. So what's important to one user won't be to another. What is important to everyone is the management of that platform and the usability. And that's why I think, kind of go and speak to everybody and see what fits your needs case. And just try not to get governed by, I buy from this brand because they do everything, because you don't have to anymore. You really can mix and match.
That's my favorite part of the story, is that we talk about innovation. We talk about this. We kind of want to see new and exciting. What is starting to happen is there is a crop there's this bunch of companies like stuck right there, right?
Yeah.
That have been doing a lot of really cool stuff, but they just fall underneath that top tier brands that people are consistently just, well, I kind of just buy from them, right?
Mhm.
And I don't want to give brand
Habit.
names away from, out of habit, exactly. And then you got this next level of companies that are just, for lack of a better term, eating the other one's lunch. They're picking
Yeah.
away. They're pushing the limit where the others have gotten complacent. What this does is drives innovation, and there is a battle going on. I absolutely love it. It's like sports. I wish there was sports betting involved. I would put money on some, take money off the other, and at the end of the day, this competition, this drive to do things better, more efficiently, faster is going to benefit us, not as just distributors, but it's going to benefit our customers because it becomes easy, seamless, painless,
Yeah.
right? AV over IP was a very tough conversation to have that required IT people and security people and this people and that
So
people.
much so that most of it is built on dedicated networks and actually doesn't go anywhere near the LAN anyway.
Exactly.
But yeah.
I've been watching this for over a year now, and I think it's heating up. It is a very competitive, almost combative sport to
Mhm.
watch this happen. And like I said, as the compressed versus uncompressed, with broadcast versus corporate enterprise, as that starts to kind of those walls start to come down, you'll start to see new players and people that maybe have been innovating in this space move up. So I'm excited to see where this is going. And for you as an audience listening to us talk, there is something there. We're not just blowing smoke, right? We are not obviously going into brands and conversation about who to go see and all that, because it's obvious who's out there doing some really cool stuff. And it's up to you, folks. I mean, we can lead you to the water, but we can't make you drink. So please go and check this out. It'll be well worth your time if you do a little bit of investigating on where this is going, because if you go to NAB, if you go to Infocom, if you're going to ISE, obviously it's a good kind of combination of them both. The division lines, and they're starting to kind of come down, and to see where this is going. So
Yeah.
and you thought we
So
didn't have
we've
enough
had our
material
warning
to
from
talk.
producer Kerry to say,
Yep.
I know, and there's me going, oh, I don't know if we've got enough for a full hour.
Yep.
So we've overrun. I would like to request anybody that's still listening or anyone that listens, what I haven't found in my trawling through press releases, stroke chat GPT, trawling through press releases and sending me any daily news from ISE, is I still haven't really found anyone that's a contender to that, the holoplot.
Oh, I have one for you.
Oh, you do?
Of course I do. I saw them at IAPA.
Oh, at
Uh-huh.
the theme park show.
At a theme park show. Why? Because it's experiential. And I saw sound coming out of a red rope that was sitting next to me, and it enveloped us in a soundscape. Oh,
Ooh.
yes, I do have that information for you,
Will they
Jenny.
be at
And
ISE?
I am almost positive that they will be there. Man, I could even brought in some of the conversations I had regarding. I wish we're not going to go into this, but there are some really cool things happening with lighting and IP.
Yeah.
I've seen some really amazing products, and it was wild that I got to see it at LDI and I got to see it at IAPA. Products that are being, lighting commercial spaces with our J45 runs, as opposed to the traditional way of doing it. This is now can be AV installed by our AV integrators. So yes, there is kind of a holoplot combatant out there that I will absolutely share with you, Jenny.
Interesting. And anyone else who discovers one, I'd love to hear about it. So I think, did we have anything else that we needed to tell people?
We've talked about this top secret, not so top secret consultant event that we're hosting on Monday. That is a first for us. And I'm very excited to see a lot of my consultant friends from the US and obviously people internationally show up. I think that's
black, haven't I?
For some reason
I'm
you've
black. Can you still hear me?
I can still hear you, but
okay.
I will do my best to carry it on.
I promise I'm smiling. So I think we have a restream glitch. I will see if I can refresh it.
Let's keep it going. So we talked about our consultant event. We
with
talked
the
about our
Monday
booth.
night, if there are any AV consultants out there, so obviously that would be somebody who doesn't have a trading account with a Midwich Group company that does design consultancy only. Yes, this event is for you. It's a global event, so there'll be plenty of people you don't recognize if you're a consultant that works in a local area. But we would be, I hope, happy to host you. It is fairly full, but if you contact us directly, because the registration form is closed now, but we will, I think, be able to pull some strings.
Hit us up. You know us on where to find us on LinkedIn, and our emails. If you don't have that, I'm sure producer Carrie will drop that into the bottom half of that, or you can just reach out to Midwich folks. Both Jenny and I are heavily involved in that, so yes, please. If you are there Monday night and you want to come have a chat, it's going to be a good time. It's going to be a good presentation, and the team that's put this together has really put some thought into it, and we're trying to do things a little differently, right? So give us a shout. Again, our booth is 3P700. We are located in Hall 3. Stop by. Jenny and I are both there. Come check out the AV on-air studio. It's a working live studio production setup that we have. It's simple, it's easy, it's something that as integrators y'all can reproduce and take out to your customers for either podcast or for executive briefing centers and whatever you guys need. So take a look at that. We obviously are doing our hospitality suite, so it's coffee, food, drinks, and happy hours throughout the day or at the end of the day. So please stop by and take a look. You know where to find me. You know where to find Jenny on LinkedIn. During the show, will be easy to spot. I will have Jenny. Do I pull out my weird sneakers to close out the show?
Yeah, I think that's a good outro. Actually, you've got 2 minutes to explain your magic sneakers.
I have magic sneakers. So one day at the show, I'll be wearing a pair of Jordans. These are the Somos Eternos, which are the Day of the Dead sneakers. Interesting enough, as I wear them, the blue wears away, and this is what kind of got Jenny. She's like, no way. The blue wears away, and a pink sneaker is revealed over time. So today, these have pristine. They haven't been used yet. They are blue and pink, but eventually they will all turn pink with blue accents at some point. But the blue literally rubs away as I use them. Jenny's like, I've seen it all. But yes, that's one of the newer pairs of Jordans that I will be at the show. Jenny will be rocking some On Clouds. Very nice, very comfortable sneakers.
The Roger?
Very proud of you, Jenny. Roger. One of the things that Jenny
I'm wearing them in, but I
absolutely
can't wear them outside because I don't want them to get dirty. So yeah, I only put them on indoors.
The sneakerhead training has worked. Your lightsaber will be handed to you at the show. You are now full-fledged. You got it in mind. If I watch you putting spray foam at your sneakers at the thing and cleaning off your sneakers before you go home, then there's a problem. But you're going to be doing the Mr. Rogers. You're going to come in. You're going to take your sneakers off. You're going to put on your work shoes. I get you. Thank you so much. People that we did not catch, if that was on, thank you so much for stopping by. Tom Milner said hello earlier in the episode. We were knee deep in technology talk and didn't have a chance to say hi to Tom, who was always a good time and always stops by the booth. Tom, you're always more than welcome. Come by and say hi. All the people that are watching and listening and chiming in and giving us updates, and obviously producer Kerry and all the hard work that the team put to rebrand our new product and to have a new logo and all the things. We even got a new picture put up, which is wild because that picture was taken pandemic, first time that we actually opened up a innovation house. So that's how old that picture was. And this one has actually happened last year, but it's a year old. But hey, it's a new picture of Jenny and I. And we look forward to having more shows throughout the year. If you guys enjoy it, just let us know in the comments, and we will be doing more. We're trying and doing our best, as always, to be as agnostic as possible, to bring you some information that maybe others aren't, and try to give you tidbits of stuff that is important for the show. Not sure if we're doing a recap of the show, but we may.
We have some content planned for post-show that we'll capture there. So there's we've got some really exciting guest speakers that we're going to capture some interview with at ISE. So they'll be streamed via this platform, but post show, but with Chris and I available to sort of take questions and be around live as well, because I think that's some of the fun of this, is that yeah, you can get involved.
Yep.
But yes, I think providing we can gather all of our information up, we will aim to do a wrap up show as normal as well after the event. So
awesome. Jenny, is there anything else that we may have forgot that you didn't bring up that now that you're back on video?
I need to get back to wearing my shoes in. So I'm going to go skip around my house some more and break in the new sneakers.
One thing. Absolutely. Ladies and gentlemen, we absolutely seeing you guys at the show in person. Online is one thing, but in IRL, as the kids will send me text messages, in real life is another. Please stop by our booth. Come say hi. I can grab a cup of coffee with you. Jenny can do the same. We could sit down. We can actually even, give you some detailed information on the stuff that we kind of hinted at today. But at the show is now free game. We'll absolutely point you in the right direction. One of the things that we like to do is be a resource, whether it is towards the products. Obviously, the products that we sell, we'd love to point you that way. But sometimes there's some cool things that we do not sell that we need to kind of put on your radar. And that's equally as important.
Most of the stuff we talked about today.
Yeah. We're getting there. We're getting there. At least we're honest about these things. But stop by, come see Jenny and I. There's a whole new crew. I know that from our Midwich US side, it's not just Midwich US, it's Midwich North America, kind of all now representing as one, because SFM is going to be there. We're all kind of together united with a new CEO, a new CRO, and a whole new set of people that have come in and kind of now taken over some leadership. I just got back from New Orleans, meeting with them. We are prepared, we're psyched. Mark Lowe and Stuart Meisen showed up and gave us the bigger conversation on the global side. We are a global organization. And to remind folks that we can provide products, quality of service, and do all the fun things, not just in the US, but throughout the world, not just in the UK and the US, is important. And we're looking forward to hosting you guys and seeing you at the show next week. And Jenny, are you prepared? Like, are you mentally prepared for this, or 30,000 steps a day? Are we no?
No, I'm not there. No one's ever prepared, are they? But I'm ready and I'm excited.
No, ready and excited, acceptable. That is exactly what we're looking to do. So if it's okay with you, I can close this out and finish our first episode of 2026. Okay, there we go. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for listening. This has been a brand new first episode, rebranded version of Midwich on Air. We thank you so much for your time, for all the cool things that you do, and the patience that you have in listening to us. Stop by our booth, 3P 700 in Hall 3. We will point you into really cool places and really cool technology that maybe, some of the others have not covered yet. And if they did, then we probably stole it from them too, and just passing on some cool information. And outside of that, thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for watching. This has been Midwich on Air.